Fantasy Baseball Analytics 2024, the closer report. We're gonna have to just roll up our sleeves and get dirty here. This is like a video. I don't want to have to make this video on closers. I've never wanted to do this on closers, and I think before we get into the closers, just zooming out, and if you're using this kind of model, how we find power, how we draft, when we take pitching, I realize that it's salary cap settings when you're in a lot of total control of team build. There's no reason to not have closers. So I do get involved in closers. I get deep into there, but this is probably the difference. Still holding some of those old school rules to be true. We don't pay for saves. We don't pay up for saves. It's the same thing about injured players. It's a pitcher, it's a hot cold, it's a start stop, it's a doesn't know when he's gonna pitch, it's a back-to-back nights pitcher. Closers just blow. Like, Hader just blew up one season. I mean, there's so many examples every year, and combining that in with starting pitching. And so what I think is happening, if because I really want to talk about where ADP is broken, how to exploit it. So I think what's happening is we're not guessing pitchers right, and we're getting frustrated because they're getting hurt and blowups are happening. And so each year in the ADP speak, we seek more certainty. I want who was a lock. I want to buy last year's numbers more than ever every year. So pitchers keep going up. We know there's blowups, but they're hard to identify. So we just, there's a lot of pitching. So in salary cap terms, we every year $20 aces, $20 aces. Who's in that mid tier is kind of being disrespected, and it's a nice. Let's get started here. Let's get it started. This is a new format for me, so I'm getting better at this and understanding what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do. I mean, I couldn't even make videos there before, and we have him, Bregman, and McLean going. I'm down here on the cusp in TGFBI, but we weren't really going to start there. That's just up in the background. But $20 aces, and just to address, just to hit up for JD, want to talk some Luis Castillo. So that's fair because Luis Castillo is one of those guys who has been a $20 ace many years before. And I think one thing is just maybe why I skipped over him is because I feel like I know Luis so well, and I've been here with him through these ups and downs because every year we keep getting in. Luis balls out a 3-1-2 and then a 4-3. And that broke hearts. And the pendulum began with Luis. No one can get Luis's value correct. Then they're out. We're in because we like some stuff, the home, and he has it. He goes 3-4. Yes, he did it. Everyone gets back in. He was pitching well. Velo's up at 97. He got hurt. 70 innings. Everybody's back out. Here he breaks hearts. 398. Oh, everyone's out. Oh, he's a stud. 299 with some innings limitations. And then he goes to Seattle. We see the split season. So it's like we know it's been back and forth here. We can see the velo. So we've always been interested, 97s, 96, 97s. And I think that this is a year where he's just going so high. I mean, this is everyone is the most confident they've ever been. That finally now there's belief that Luis Castillo is there now. And getting deeper into the teams, what's being said is different staffs have different philosophies, different organizations, different philosophies, different park factors. What you see is Luis, who I guess was in Cincinnati, trying to use a mix to keep himself in the ballpark. But see, here's 31. So not getting any younger, having a great season. but he comes over to Seattle. So the combination of the park mixed with the coaching, mixed with how they're going to use him, mixed with the kind of feedback they're going to give him. I mean, I would just look at usage and look at fastball velocity. Luis Castillo 97, but for a little while he was leading change. I mean, 2019, 20, 21, he's throwing change up. Here it was filthy. When it's really going, I mean, it's a power change at 87, and then he can get the heater up to 97. So he gets his 10 miles an hour, and he's get this 47% whiff, and no one was hitting it, so he just kept pumping it. But you can see as the shine kind of comes off the change down to 40% whiffs, down to 32% whiffs. So either the shape, here it got a little faster. I'm trying to see if the spin rates tell the story. Hitters identify it, they catch up to it. This is the cat and mouse. So finally, he kind of puts the change away, says, I'm going to throw the sinker to just keep the damage down. Was still giving up damage, but he switches his mix. But here we go. We finally see a new Luis Castillo. But down a slight tick, 97.1 to 96.3. Doesn't really matter. The fastball is 165 batting average, 33% whiff. I mean, has the fastball ever been this good? I mean, it really was. I mean, here's another season. So it's just got a killer whiff, but 13 bombs, still giving up the dinger because he's pumping it middle. I mean, I guess if he misses, it's low, but he's high with the cheddar, lower with the slider. That's a new mix for him. Can I go back one season and just see when he was throwing this changeup? Just want to see where he was hitting with it. Here's this changeup blown away. He was just starting with that and the four seamer, so maybe he's gained some control. See him getting off the middle of the plate, getting it up high. So he's probably going over the top of bats, keeping guys off balance. But here's the slug. It wasn't a good home run year. 1.28 creeps up. So we're starting to see the Triforce that is with home run per nine, walks as a proxy for control, having to navigate around this, mixing in our called strike and our foul ball accumulators. And so you can see the damage show up a little bit there. A tough barrel year. Everything else looked good, but the whiff, the K to BB, that's spectacular. So it's a guy that's going high. I think he had a very results driven 76, 31, 30. That's ace. That's ace archetype. So I think I don't know. I guess I skip over him. He brought it. He brought it. The chase is up where it needed to be. Leads to one of his career years there. The whiff. So I mean, I think he put it together with Mix, maybe getting some superior coaching. We like the entire Seattle Mariners staff right now, 1 through 5. Every guy in there is a purchasable playoff player. But let's get into closers. But I want to do this back into the philosophy. I'm not gonna get the obvious best known closers with the obvious stuff. I'll look up here to make sure somebody doesn't slip stuff wise. I'm gonna lay them out stuff wise, but I'm probably not gonna get Devin Williams, who's obviously Jordan Romano. These guys Hater going extremely early. We don't need to analyze that much. I want to start at the bottom because it's in the worst. It's in the worst situations that guys don't want to touch, or the roster resource can be very, we have here, roster resource can just be bad. There's certain pens where this isn't sorted out. The manager is being coy with who he wants to name the closer. You can't tell. There may be some trades, but ultimately the stuff is going to sort itself out. And then we can just take a pick at some pitching if we want. So this is the Chicago White Sox, John Brebbia. You're seeing almost, this is one of the few that I almost don't want any part of. I mean, 33 years old, 36, just a very old. I mean, even when I wrote it down, I had Crockett for at first. I thought Crockett and Santos were getting a chance. I go back, and all of a sudden it's John Brebbia, who's also old. Brebbia. I mean, so that's your roster resource. But we were gonna see is at least I give myself the little highlighting. I mean, this if we're in a 12-team salary cap, Shaw might not go. I mean, I'm getting ready for this deeper. We're in this 15-teamer. I want to keep making quality picks. It's gonna be probably digging some of these late closers out of the dumpster. Four seamer 94 whiffs are low. This I mean the batting averages can sustain with 6 home runs. This guy is not very good. It's not very exciting. So they got Brebbia maybe gonna hold us down. I mean, I'm just kind of going off of where did I see Shaw? Let's see, is Shaw listed on here? All right, there's Brian Shaw, 36. Yeah, I don't know why I think Shaw maybe has the track. I mean, you have to read some stuff. People are covering this. So I dug in. I just highlighted maybe a Brian Shaw. Let's see, they got to bring him up for me. But when you're using this roster resource here, this overall rank is nice, 106. You can just check, there's an ERA projection, a K per nine. So here's Shaw. Does Shaw have anything? Why would I ever say it was Shaw? 36. Lily's throwing cutter. It's just sad. It's just a sad. I must have read it. It must just be in an article, and yeah, he just looks abysmal. So that's probably not going to work either. So maybe you stick with Brebbia there, but you're down to 29 teams. If you can't identify a White Sox closer, we have to look at where we're stuck. That one was sad. Let's go to Oakland. We can be a little bit more excited. This is what I mean by having doing the dirty here. Oakland's got some good guys going here. Oakland. Hop over here. Just have his name right. Little Mason Miller. Take a look at. Should probably spread these out a little bit. So we go to Oakland, and teams want it seems like it has to be that right mix. I mean, bad teams still get into save opportunities. We really want the closer to have the role. So already roster resources playing games. They're playing Mason Miller and Lucas Erkirk. Both could close. We're not sure. We think it leans Mason by the projections. Mason's got the ERA. Mason's got the big strikeouts, but Erkirk is not bad either. So we take a look up here at Mason Miller. Fastball velo 97. Really, really. And we see one of the first things we like to see is him throw 98.3. Holding batter as well, and then a slide piece at 118 for 47% whiff. So we look good to go here as far as I'm concerned. You can say what you want about 81 zone contact chase whiff. That's not great. So we just have a hard thrower here. Maybe he's not getting enough guys off of to swing and miss, to get strikeouts. It wasn't necessarily showing it. Here comes Erkirk, also throwing 98, and then he's got a change that he's using. They're pretty hard to hit. What's Erkirk's stuff look like? 79, 23, 28 with the whiff. Both these guys look like they've got a little bit of stuff on them. I would sit with Miller for now because of the ERA, but Erkirk, if it's a health thing, if this moves around, I mean, I'm aware that I'm going to be alert there because he's throwing 90, he's throwing 98. A little bit of my closer theory is like look into the pen. Who who's got the most gas? I mean, who has the most gas this season? It could be. So moving to Kansas City. Kansas City, we want them to be better, but we haven't seen it yet, so we're not really sure there. Let's see what we got here. Control as well. Let's just have the wrong person. Let's see who it is here. Mo MacArthur. I'm not even close. Oh my goodness. So I mean, here we go. Kansas City Royals, and this is why people are staying away. And because they're nervous, because of the nerves of this, having to deal with this, you just want to go up and get the lockdown person. So Will Smith, from what I'm hearing, was brought in to close. So just out of nowhere, none of these ERAs are that great. You could think about Will Smith here. But I'm gonna check James MacArthur first. James MacArthur, 27.67. I like that. I like how big he is. Pitch tracking, wild, missing left and right with the dots. Sitting 94, leads curveball, big old break on it, a hard hit curveball with whiffs, but a sinker, the second offering, and maybe a slider. Is he commanding the plate here? No, 87 zone contact. So I don't think that can last. I don't think that much contact is what you want to see from your closer. So James MacArthur might lose this job. He might be losing this job, honestly, and that's what I think the concern is here. James MacArthur, Will Smith, and John McMillon. See that's where you get to see all of a sudden you see 74 strikeouts to 60 innings, and maybe he saves. And you want to at least think about him a little bit. And here the 35 shows that this is probably Will Smith's job. But we will check in on John McMillan stuff here. So Will, 34, had a good run here. He's kind of painting sliders in the corner, four seamers up. Not throwing very hard. The fastball was not good. So Will, the slider and the curve have good whiffs, but the fastball is not good. Can he hold this job? He's been a good closer in his past. He's got good chase, good whiff. He's at a decent place there. So I think Will, at least to start, McMillan. John McMillan. I guess for me, I'm popping, here, and I put a blue on it. It's a new name, John McMillan, 26 years old. What could happen here? Why did I say blue? Got to get, because he's just pumping this 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And if everything fails, if Will's too old, MacArthur can't miss bats, he's throwing 98. And there's huge whiffs. I mean, he probably hasn't had any time to come up. Zone contact 66.7, chase 40, whiff 56. It has to be a small sample size, but the guy I like, if I'm in a pinch, it'd probably be some John McMillan. Maybe John McMillan seizes this role and takes it from all these guys, from this old guy and this guy who's hitting bats, because he's got the scary fireball there. And I don't know. That's You have to type his name in probably. I don't even know if he'll be on ADP at this point. Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals. This to summarize here, this is Hunter Harvey's situation. That's my general thought on this Hunter Harvey situation. But let's take a look. Let's get some Nats up here. And yeah, I mean you have to grind this out. So we're gonna get power. That I've experimented with what I've called getting AC, going up and saying, no, no, I'm gonna pay for premium pitching and see how my bat's feeling afterwards. And it just has never worked for me. more exposure to pitching led to more injuries to pitching. And I can't work backwards. I can't work backwards. I mean, the teams when I'm winning hitting, looking at the comparison, if I'm drafting more hitting and another teams are drafting pitching, now when they lose pitchers and I don't lose hitters, it's going to be hard to keep up with premium bats. Compound on top of that, if some of the pitchers that I did take tend to be more the right pitchers than who you were taking, maybe I might even have built a better staff than you with the later part of the draft. Now you're in some serious trouble because now I'm out hitting you, and then I'm starters in case, and then I'm in here getting really cheap closers that you didn't really want to think about. Oh shit, that's a winners league championship. That's going, that's 6-4ing somebody in the end who just it got away from them, the closer thing. So it's the last little piece we got to get in there. So did we get Hunter Harvey opinion? There's a lot of hunters in the league. There are a couple of different things I saw with Hunter Harvey, but I think to start off it, well, they said it was Kyle, but now we're gonna say, well, it might be Hunter as well. And you see the ERAs, Hunter's a little better. The Ks, Hunter's a little better. Kyle Finnegan, sure, he did it last season, 29, 6'3", four-seamer, splitty slider, some wildness, but he's 98.3 with the fastball. Some whiffs, nothing getting hit too hard, the splitter. Using more mix, nothing dominant pitch wise there. 77, 30, 26. Velos are up. I think we like it. And that's where I'd rather be. And this is gonna be this is not an exciting team. Washington not gonna win many games. The outlook is down. Then you've got Finnegan to deal with. So no one's gonna want to pay much for Hunter Harvey, who didn't have the job yet. But Kyle Finnegan also throwing hard, 97.3. The fastball, 271. He's got to get over to the splitter. 8 home runs. I mean, you give up too many of those, they might just name it Hunters. Here's the zone contact. Chase with God, it was a bad last season. Hunter, I wouldn't even consider Kyle and move over fully to Hunter Harvey for the Washington Nationals. That's Hunter Harvey. All right, here's Colorado. You want to go into Colorado for saves? Yeah, good luck. Be my guest. You can get a save in Colorado with a 5 ERA when they're even in position to get one. So we're seeing Justin Lawrence here, who I believe I have pretty much holding it down. But let's see what we're buying here. Because in the end, to hold the job, I think you gotta have some stuff. If I'm gonna take a reliever, and as long as it was Hellesley, Diaz last season. I mean, now these guys are going too much, but we were getting them cheap, so we're looking for the guys to be here doing it next. Lawrence, 95.4, that's okay. 333 against, and a sweeper at 36% lift. That's all he's got. It was okay, no Ks. The walks were a problem, so really not a very good closer, but he's gonna get a couple. Tyler Kinley, he's just there. 33 years old, a body. Justin Lawrence might be there. I don't even think Kinley is worth looking at. But let's just make sure that I didn't miss out on anything. I don't want some sneaky 33-year-old velo creeping up on me. Just because I'm not willing to do an extra couple clicks here. Justin Lawrence, I think he's got the job. I didn't stumble into any Secret players here. Slider, four-seam fastball 96. Sinker. Nah, he's not gonna come wrestle. He's not gonna come wrestle the job away from Lawrence, I don't think. Nothing special. So that's the Rockies. Another pretty poor situation. At least for stuff, so far Miller, McMillan, Hunter Harvey, at least something to think about. Carlos Estevez at the Los Angeles Angels. The less exciting Los Angeles Angels with the departure of Shohei Ohtani. Not really going for it anymore with Trout, and Trout's just trying to get back to an MVP level now that he's by himself again. 32 and a half year old Mike Trout. Reed Detmers is the number one starter. Carlos Estevez, Robert Stevenson. So immediately, Carlos Estevez, 17, seems to have the job. 73 strikeouts in 66 innings. But notice a Robert Stevenson with a 3.61 projected better ERA and better Ks, 84 and 63 innings. If all the closers go, if Carlos Estevez is gone, think about Stevenson. See this 15? Even Matt Moore, they have a little bit of love for as a reliever, but see 57, 17. Let me see. Carlos Estevez. And I think I had it back here sorted out because I was looking where Estevez, here he is. He got 31. And this is where people, so I see it now with Class A, even though the stuff was slipping, people were just in love with the saves. And that's because their team didn't produce runs, but they had good pitching, so he had to close a lot of games. Here's a bad team, Pittsburgh, bad team, Giants, low win margins, able to get lots of saves, Cincy. So Milwaukee wasn't that great. You're looking for the teams that win a lot. Houston, the Yankees, Clay Holmes, Phillips at the Dodgers. It's an interesting balance. That's why we're not paying up for saves. A save is its own category, true, but the other help is just ratios. Starters are wins and Ks plus ratios. I just struggle to move down to the 3 category closer if I'm still trying to bid wins and get wins and Ks, which is never ending. 31.66. I like that from Carlos Estevez very much. And he's throwing 97, 28% whiff, 240, slider change, both not very good. The secondary stuff is not helpful. He's got a good firm fastball at 97, 76, 27, 27. Okay. He's got a good fastball, but he's getting hit a little bit. And that was the best he's really played in a while. So does he have a vice grip on this job though? I'm not so sure about that. Let's see this Robert Stevenson. Robert Stevenson of the Los Angeles Angels, 31 years old, 6'3". Waiting for the tracking to come in. Let's go back here. This is what caught my eye. So he's throwing cutter at 88 with a huge, big 2,800, 2,900, 3,000. So just wild spin rates, 60% whiff, a 100 batting average on this cutter, and this slider, 41%. What is he throwing? Those are huge spin rates. This guy is throwing crazy corkscrew in this 70 zone, 41 chase, 46 whiff. They didn't show what he did here, but he was lights out. He was like this. So this guy must be injury prone because he goes lights out. And looks like he was doing that again last year. So I think, again, it's just if you can't get to Carlos, he goes early, and I guess it's like a handcuff. We're buying like we're handcuffing our closer running backs. Robert Stevenson of the Los Angeles Angels has really nasty stuff. You never know. A 7-8 a setup guy stumbles into a W. At least he's giving me Ks and trying to keep my ratios pulled down in case his name gets called. Look at that. I mean, they have Reed Detmers throwing 179 strikeouts over this 169 innings. That's incredible that they have him that much strikeout stuff projected. The Reed Detmers story goes on. Jose Alvarado in Philly. Hmm. I mean, this is why we start from the bottom, because everyone started from the top. We've got to go. We've got to figure out where we can get our closers, where we're shopping discount sale bin for our closers. So Jose Alvarado looks like he has it. Strikeouts, innings, everything looks good. My concern is all the names of guys that have closed in here before. Gregory Soto is ready to close, drop bat, and he'll have no problem. Seranthony throws hard. He's always trying to close, and it never works out. And that's a little bit true of Alvarado. And then Hoffman, who I don't even know about, he's in here. He's got strikeout stuff. And is Philly gonna mix and match? They gonna hand it all to Alvarado? I already know that Alvarado is tossing 98 or something like that. Something that he's just doing on a regular basis. And I mean, are we ready? This is an important closer to get right. There he is, 98.7. Okay, it's okay. I mean, he had a good year with it. There's other years. I mean, he's been sinker cutter, 5. It's always good. We wonder why he doesn't really get the job. Let's see how he's doing on his percentiles. All right, all right, well, it's good here. Must be a limited sample size. Zone, chase, whiff. I like Alvarado. I mean, I've always liked him. I hope he does get the chance. I hope he does hold this down. But if he doesn't, who else is there? Jeff Hoffman, Burger, Soto. God, let's just take a look at let's take a look at the Hoff, just to make sure that he's not nipping at his heels here. Because I think when Soto took over that closing job, he started throwing high 90s. Let's see right here. This is we're popping in on Jeff Hoffman at the Phils, and he's throwing 97. He's throwing slider, fastball, big spin, 2,700 on that slider, 2,500 on the fastball. Nice offering with a splitty with some whiffs on it. He's got a little package on him. See how's he using it? 78, 34, 34. I believe it. Oh my gosh. What is this? That's that's him going lights out with velo and spins and chase rates. Where's my sheet? You know what I mean? This is why we do it. So Jeff Hoffman, Gregory Soto, we're gonna have to look at him too. Let's just make sure that we got the Hoff. Let's make sure we get a little highlight on him. This is wild. This is wild. Gregory Soto. They have such a good pen. I don't think it's Soto. Is Soto the old? Is Soto kind of left out of this mix? I mean, I feel like he's kind of last odd man out here. Let's see him. 29. Are you throwing hard still, Gregory? Gregory Soto? Yes, he is. 98. Spin rates are not prolific. Everything looks pretty good. Some home runs on the slider. Zone 74, chase 30 with 34. Pretty good reliever. Pretty good reliever. You know, Phillies pitchers just get to that pen. Get to that pen. You can see it reflected here. 37, 52, 65. But then I see this Orion Kerkering. And it's just, you got to be deep. 6'2", 22 years old. I think this might be the closer. I read an article where this is the closer, sweeper sinker on an 86-mile-an-hour sweeper with a 40% whiff rate and a 98-mile-an-hour sinker with a 50% whiff rate. 2,900 on the sweep, 2,400 on the fastball, 66 zone contact, 31 chase, 40% whiff. No bars, no bars yet. Orion Kerkering could close for the Phils. In salary cap, these are how I use my dollar bids or something. If all the closers go, I mean, this is how in TGFBI I'm gonna have to really, really dig deep in this. I mean, because all of a sudden we're gonna be at 100, 200. You're in the 200s to 300s trying to put starters. Let me find some of these closers. So Kerkering down here is middle relief, not even highly rated. That's what I got. That's what I'm hearing. But I'm gonna highlight Jeff Hoffman. Take just another little look at that for myself. San Diego Padres. Oh, the Padres traded Juan Soto. They're never gonna be good again. I mean, Bogarts, everyone could step up there. The Pods should be fine. That lineup looks fine. Tatis, Cronenworth, Bogarts, Machado, Kim, they're gonna be fine. They can't get the outfield sorted out. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why. Robert Suarez. Robert Suarez of the Padres. Simply what I remember is Robert throwing hard. Robert throw hard Suarez. But the bigger story is to keep an eye on a Yuki Matsui because here you see a 4.10 ERA and just about a K per nine. But Yuki, 28 years old, 5 years younger, has a 3.33 projected ERA with 80 strikeouts in 64. So we got to at least be intrigued. Yuki was said to maybe be giving some closer competition just to be an option for the Pods. The Pods like to have a good closer. But I think Robert could be enough. I don't, this shouldn't blow up on Robert. He's throwing 97.7 with a hard change. That's batting average. The other stuff, the change in the sinker, batting averages are great. Spin rates are not crazy. Just got to trust the change. How did his percentiles go? We didn't see much of it. 75, 26, 26. Just not getting a lot of swing and miss from Robert Suarez, but 32 years old. Will he hold the job on just a fastball alone? Let's see Yuki here. I don't think we have a lot of information on Yuki. No, we have nothing. We have nothing. Let's see what Fangraphs has. Savant hasn't seen him yet. International stats, you got ATC. Some of these showing 11 big strikeouts, basically. That's where you're seeing some of the projections come over from Steamer. That's what we got. Flyer. course, when everything's gone, when all the closers are gone, go and handcuff that down. The intent might have just be to put Matsui in from jump. I mean, he is dealing with something. I think he's a little behind right now, which is going to drive his value even lower. But it's interesting. I've got yellow on him. The Red Sox situation. This is another situation here. I don't know what's up with Kenley. Was he hurt? Is it trade rumors? Maybe he's fine. But Kenley, the trade rumors are Kenley's going to get moved. The Red Sox brought in Liam Hendricks. He's been good. He's injured. He's supposed to come back. He could come back right when Kenley's done. Kenley's still good. He's old, 36. Let's just see what Jansen's working with. I'm not getting any Kenley. It's just the summary of this story, probably. I don't know where he's gonna go. I guess he would start anywhere where he's gonna go. You feel bad because that means there's a closer out there that when Kenley gets moved, is gonna lose his job. Where's that? Kenley been doing it. I mean, K to B, just give it to him. 76, 31, 29. He's been doing it. He's still gonna do it. He's old. He's just throwing the cutter. Let's see the offerings. There's the cut, the slider, the sinker. Cutter at 94, 239, 27% whip, 37% whip on the slider. Locating it. Kenley's fine. Is there any backup action here? Liam Hendricks to me, like later. If it was later in the season, or if he suddenly was getting healthy. Chris, get it. Chris Martin. Is this him? 37? Are there two Chris Martins? Oh, that is him. Chris Martin, next man up for Boston, 6'8". Okay, he's huge. And throwing 95. Lifts are not there. They need something else. I mean, I don't think Chris isn't gonna take it from Kenley, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Colin Bay. Oh man, Paul Sewald, Aldebert Azalea. Sewald in Arizona. Well, did Sewald pile these up last year? 34 of them. At a 3.12 ERA. Gave up 1.9 homers per nine. So I mean, how guys got it? There's strikeouts, but in closer world, you'll walk batters and to get around stuff. Don't give up that home run though, or your Paul Sewald, Rossell Iglesias, Kyle Finnegan. Where the ERA just gets pushed up a little bit. You want it in, sub 3, and it just gets pushed over just a little bit. Let's get Sewald up here. I think Sewald has the spot. I mean, that's where, as the tiers, the situations that are a mess are just know that those guys are going to go late and how you'll deal with them. And I kind of, as it gets less messy and these guys start to be at least holding the job by themselves with no clear murkiness on the situation, nobody nipping at their heels. Paul Sewald here, 77 over 66. Ginkel. I guess I just didn't find Ginkel to be a threat. Here's Paulie Sewald. Paulie Sewaldy, 33 years old, four-seamer sweep, and 28-30. The batting averages are maintained, 220 and a 190. How was he in the plate? 74, 28, 29. And his red looked great, so he just came in, he got it done. I guess Paul Sewald was the stabilizing force. I mean, Arizona's crediting their run because Paul Sewald came over and did such a good job. So as soft as some of that stuff looks to me in the Arsenal, I think it's Paul's job. It, it'll be a job, but so he's not going to have that really clean. I mean, you'll get the save, but your ERA might be a little bit elevated. And here's Gankel. Throws a little harder. Throws 96. Batting averages are okay. Spins, but that zone contact is too much in the whiff. Not more exciting. I mean, a good backup reliever. So Paul will probably hold it. You know, you got Ginkel there a little younger. We'll be fine if Paul's age starts to show a little bit. Right onto Ginkel. And nobody else had really jumped out. Adbert Alzolay. Adbert Alzolay. Chicago Cubs. Adbert was starting for a little bit. Pushed himself back 28-6-1. I mean, I feel like he started to flash his stuff a little bit in the closer role. Chicago Cubs. 95. He'll just throw his slider. 40% whiff rate, leads with it. Has a mix. Uses the mix to keep guys off balance. 80-31-28. Not great, has the job. I didn't see any threats. You know, I didn't see any threats to the role. So let's see here. Let's see. Adalbert, come on. Yeah, I was just going back to the team here. Neris. God, he's a little. I guess. I mean, Neris has closed. I don't think I even had Neris down. Where is Hector coming from? Is he in this? Is he going to be in this mix? Because Neris sometimes gets it going. And I'm not sure if Adalbert is hasn't, true closer arsenal. Here's Neris. Is this really happening? It's really happening right now. What's Hector's stuff look like? No, it's not. It's not very hard. Good whiff on the fat. Yeah. See 153-171 fastball splitter with good differentiation. Man, Neris was suppressing hard hit last season. Had some strikeouts. 73-31-30. Yikes. Hector Neris kind of gets on the scene. And that's the thing, the roster, this is just changing. I don't even think he was there last time I checked. And he just jumped out to me because of this 25. I mean, gosh, I guess Julian Merriweather even has to come into consideration at some point because I know that name. Let's just put Julian on here. Yes, well, let's just see if Julian's got some stuff. So I don't know. I think Hector Neris. I think they like Julian in more of a reliever, more of a long relief role. Let's see. He throws 32. Down with the slider, up with the four seam. Throwing 98. See, but fastball gets touched a little bit. Lead slider with the big whiff rate. Changeup is good. See, Julian Merriweather was 98. Is he controlling bats? So. But has that velo. I don't know who the Cubs are going to turn to. If you're telling me Adalbert Alzolay, I mean, I'm gonna have to look and see what if the manager's naming someone there. I feel like this is it's a murkier situation that I'm gonna have to delve into just a little further. There's Sewald, Lang, we don't want to be in Detroit. We don't want to be in Detroit, I don't think. Although, Detroit on the up and up. Let's see him right here. Let's get Lang fired up here. I had a lot of Alex Lang last year. I mean, it just 28, had the job, had it locked up, looked like the only guy with the right stuff, was the only guy with the stuff. Send him in 80 and 65. This guy's only 50 and 63. That's not going to help from Foley. 6'3", sitting 96. Big whiff rates with the curve, just comes with it. Fastball is decent, changeup is decent, big whiffs on the change. Gives up walks. We're going to talk a little bit about stacking the metrics. Here's a good example about the overlap of the metric when you have not to double count things. So OBP, meaning walks, you're going to see it in the walks, you're going to see it reflected in the OBP. What's not really on here directly is home run, but like we mentioned before, probably buried in the slugs, who's not giving up the dinger. Alex Lang probably going to be better than advertised with a slight bump in opportunities. Clay Holmes has this locked down for the Yanks. And so, going in traditional reverse order, I don't even want to go super deep with you guys because it's starting to get to players that I'm gonna have no chance at. Let's see. If we got Clay Holmes. I mean, he has this locked up. He really does. I just like to see it. Let's see his stuff a little bit. Pitch tracking coming in. Clay's sitting 96. We like to see some whiff on the slider. Batting averages are manageable. 82 zone contact, 24, 26. I mean, he pitched well, did not get much strikeouts. Interesting pitcher, not really what I would expect. But at 30, it looks like he just got it done from an outcomes perspective with his stuff managing the park. Because I don't like his zone contacts or his chase and his whiff. But we can't deny his slug and his ISO here. Where's this? Where's the magic hidden? Sinker, slider, sweeper. He's locating very well. He's got a couple spots. He can stay down. He's painting. He's painting. He's absolutely painting. Maybe there's no walks, something like that. But the whiffs, I mean, 43, 44, 2+ pitches. That'll be enough. He's got some for righties, some for lefties. And the sinker's just a setup pitch. It's not giving up home runs. I think Holmes is gonna hold that down. Is there another team that's interesting here? Yeah, it was Texas. Take a look at Texas here. I see Leclerc, who I have been high on before, so I always liked Leclerc, and I felt like when he had that bad year, I was in course, and then he just couldn't get it going, kind of righted the ship in the second half. So he broke a lot of hearts that season, and now we're not sure. Looks a little sporadic with his targeting. I'm sure that can't help. 95. See, yeah, that's what'll do it. You're 96.5. Woohoo. 2,600 spin rate. Got the batting average down though to 95.1. See, I see some shine come off the spins right there, like 100 each. But the whiff is 28.9 and the fastball, the slider's 49.6. The stuff is all good. The manager came out and said, hey, Leclerc's going to be closing. The issue is Dave Robinson. They're behind him 75, 31, 35. It's all there. I've always liked Leclerc stuff, so I think he can get it going at 30 here. And maybe Dave Robertson, they said, adds enough competition. Puts a little fire in his belly. Gosh, I'm just mangling it. Is this not his name? I don't know how you spell Robertson's last name. David. Oh, it's David Robertson. Is that's gonna be the difference? Because I didn't call him David. Looks like it. He prefers to be called David. 38, 5'11", just getting up there, you know, getting rather up there in age for me. But has the experience of Moxie. 93, big spins though. Tightening that thing up, the cutter, the curve, the slider, all big spins, all getting some west. So Dave still got some good stuff. He got a little stuff in his pocket. 77, 28, 31. He's not as good as Leclerc. I'm not gonna worry about Dave. It's not scaring me. You know, Leclerc has to lose this job. And they say they're both closing. I mean, that's interesting. They say they'll split it. You know, Leclerc might not get back to backers or three in a row, things like that. Can I buy Robertson? Is the question. Oof. I don't want to. I don't want to. Really. I mean, there might be 10 saves in there, and injuries are gonna, injuries change everything in this setup. So Fairbanks, Phillips, Clase, Duvall, Alexis Diaz, all this. I think we've gone over all this stuff up here. I really like. Did I show Andres Munoz? I think we did when we did the high end, so we won't do it again. I think up here is where I try to find a little value. Raciel Iglesias was giving up home runs. Munoz has really good stuff. Tanner Scott, some of the stuff that's kind of quietly going for value. Even Hellesley could be a little bit better this year. All right. All right. So that's the closer update. He had to get you in the mind of getting some deep things in, getting some deep options in there, looking at your mid tier and getting out paying or drafting, getting some of these guys right, making sure that we've got enough closers and get some extras. Three, four closers, 4 or 5 closers. You only end up with two or three of them after they lose their jobs or get hurt. So that's why it's a good thing to fill up your bench, but don't pay up. Not We're not paying for saves. So just pitching wise, I'm just doing some little different stuff, looking at some stuff and talking about what we could sort here. And I realized, we really let's just do Velo. I think we talked Velo before. There's a couple guys I'm identifying late. Let's see here. Overwhelmed it. All right. So Hicks is going to get converted to a starter. I'm in. I like the experiment. Maybe he does hold this up. Maybe he does have this stamina. Try it. Try it out. I'm in. Aroldis Chapman got traded to Pittsburgh. They said Bednar's role is not in jeopardy, but he's there if anything doesn't go well. Gratterall's the threat to take Phillips's saves at the Dodgers. Keep your eye on him. There's Munoz. And here's the slug. These guys have to control the slug. Hunter Harvey, here he is. Pretty solid. That's why I'm interested there. Brash, Duvall still doing it. There's a curve. There was another Spores, Tanner Scott. So here I just got it pegged to Velo, just seeing who kind of has a nice complete package. I mean, Tanner Scott is pitching pretty well compared to Jordan Romano going earlier. I mean, it looked pretty good. I know there's going to be more opportunities, but it's pitching pretty well. Glass now's down here. I got scared off of that group. I mean, here's Glasnow giving up bombs, getting touched for barrels. Yeah, the K to walk is great, but what about when you're getting connected on? This might not have been. Here's Hater, Phillips. Play Holmes. Yeah, it's working. Here he is. This is who I found was interesting. Mr. Rick Skubal, sure, doing it all. But I like it. I like an AJ Puck being stretched out to start for the Miami Marlins, may take over, and he's excited for this opportunity. He was originally a starter at Tommy John. I've always liked AJ stuff. I mean, just to show you what's happening here. So here's AJ. He is suppressing some damage. And I believe that this is his strikeout and walk is right in here. Let's see. And K to BB is this one over here tighter. I have to swing back down for him. Here he is. It's pretty balanced. What I'm saying is he can get strikeouts and he can get whiffs. 20 years old, 6'7", the lefty. Four seamer, sweeper, sinker, change. I mean, we just got to show. See, he sat 97 before. He's 96.7, 96. 28% whiff. Hard to hit. Fastball, 238 with the plus sweep. A sinker that gets some whiffs and a change. He had he had a slider he didn't throw last year. That's lethal. That was lethal at least for a season. So this is very late stuff, but KBB with extension, getting off the mound. I like a stretched out AJ Puck. Really, I do. Especially late. Goodness. Yeah, Gavin, that wasn't that good right there. Just looking at different ways to kind of cut. All right, so that was fastball blocks. What else? We like Chase. Well, who's getting guys out there? There's Tanner Scott, Russell. Maybe you want Chase and you want, but don't give up bombs. There's Presley's problem. That's why we're not. That's why haters there. Christopher Sanchez. A lot of guys getting excited about that. Nola here is giving a little bit of bombs. Hoffman. Is that who we identified? Nope, Stevenson. Hoffman is somewhere. Maybe it was Philly. Pablo Lopez. Tariq is there. I mean, just using each one of these, kind of see what's complementary. K percentage. Let's check out one thing. We didn't do this. We didn't do this last time. Leaderboards. I think I popped it for fastballs, but we can at least average speed. We can switch to average spin. Because spin is playing into it. I mean, the more comfortable I get with what a 2400, a 26, what the big spins are. I mean, I think it speaks to the nastiness of the pitch. They're correlating to each other to some degree. So on the four seamer, it won't have the most spin of all the pitches. But there you see Hellesley, Yuri Perez, Tanner Scott, Bryce Miller, Musgrove, DeGrom, Alexis Diaz, Clerk, Class A, Sonny Gray, Cease. These are guys really. Kopech is there, Wheeler, Regans. Guys really uncorking a pretty hard fastball, but it shows who the real high end is here. The sinker, I'm not as intrigued here. Who's throwing sinkers? That's fine. Musgrove, Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller wants to get looked at. I don't know why Bryce is such a controversial pitcher. 25 years old, 6'2", in that Seattle system. Started off high, you thought he was the real deal. Then he kind of like faded on you. 95-1, 256 batting average. I think it's just the 13 home runs, but he had a good whiff rate on it with the good spin rate on it. So it feels like a fastball that could be better. 80, 28, 24. Not going to cut it. Absolutely not going to cut it. Let's see some cutters with some yank on it. There's Robert Stevenson. Julio Urias. Matt Brash, Class A. But really the one we want to see is the slider. Hard sliders. Corbin Burns, hard. Yu Darvish still spinning them, still breaking them off. He's gonna go undervalued. Cease gonna be better. Ivy with a big one. It gives you a starting point, especially if you're looking to compare. I want this guy. I guess there's two ways to look at changeups. I love how this works. You got the hard change, the power change. Devin Williams spinning his change more than a lot of guys' fastballs. Strider, then that number falls, and then you got the slow change. Puck, Jordan Hicks with a nothing out of change, but Darvish is down here. Good pitchers can be down here. Julian Merriweather, Max Scherzer, that slow change. So getting a lot of break on it. Got to look at some of the off-speed stuff at the power and at the drop-off. Here's Presley breaking off an absolutely outrageous 3,200 spin rates. Dustin May's spin. He's injured with that spin. Javier with the big one. Senior jumps out. Framber, who I'm not very high on. He's in there. Bobby Miller's got some spin on it. On that curve, that gets me excited. Do we got the slow dropping curve? Anybody up here you recognize? There's James Paxton with the baby curve. Eovaldi throwing a softy curve. Will Smith going to be closing with the soft curve. Francis Suarez is down there. Let's see the splitter. And I guess the sweeper is the pitch. Gausman's up there. I guess it's got to be a hard one. Got to break it. Logan Gilbert. Wow, 915. That's like bringing it way down. Hunter Harvey's down here. So the off speed going either way, going high end and low end, depending on how the pitchers are using it. Justin Lawrence with the big old sweeper. Yu Darvish still got sweep. So you's got a lot more stuff than he's being given credit for. So I'm glad I swing back through the world of spin rates. What else were we gonna check in here? Like stood up percentile rankings in there. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. We had to do it. We had to look at some closers, just squeeze it in, get one in there. We can look at this draft board here and like, come on up. I'm going to talk about what I've done here so far. In an amazing room, amazing room. Tristan Cockcroft is in here from ESPN. So that's pretty sick. Bloom here. Dr. Roto's in here. Cochran, Kemp, Bloom. So everybody's picking that fire. This is I don't want to give away. We're too niche. Nobody's listening to me. But I don't want to foreshadow too much strategy. You can tell what went down. Acuna, Witt, Betts, and I think this is a good pick at 3. More safer run god system over what kind of confidence he has here. The Julio, Tatis, Carroll run, Tucker run, Freeman in the system with average 2 average shots, Soto, and then Ohtani down at 10. Wow. Trey Turner goes Judge at 12. And finally Strider and Cole back to back. these guys at the cusp saying, hey, I can't let it go any further. They're going to go out and get their ace. I go Matt Olson, which was hard as I'm debating with Jordan, who slipped down, a little bit of Austin Riley, a little bit of Bryce Harper, because I saw some serious shade on Olson the career year. I guess I'm more of a believer. So I stuck Olson and Ellie De La Cruz, who's not coming back to me to start getting my process rolling speed wise. Everybody goes Bryce, Albies, it's so solid. Tristan takes Corbin Burns. He's going to go back for a big old ace. I see Vlad getting pushed up. This wit Vlad, pretty exciting. Acuna Castillo goes back and forth. I mean, look at some of the combos. Cole Ramirez, Strider, Riley. I'm not too scared. I think that's a tough place to be. But the Judge Harper made out. Trey Turner, Alvarez, nice pairing. So you've seen a lot of these pairings. Carroll with Devers, Tatis with Alonso getting power speed or going out for aces. We come back, Seager, Adolis, Gaussman, Gunner kind of slips, Bichette, Robert. The run of kind of high end pitching here. A Rosarena. I thought Abrams might get back to me. Gets Pop Chisholm, Rushman. A lot of hype around Jazz. Gosh, a lot of hype. I think that because of using so much, a guy has to really, and I believe in Jazz. I mean, I do. I just, is it 26? Man, he's young. He's got to put it together. He's got to get healthy for a season here. Let's see this here. Just checking out his pitch highlighter here. I just want to real quick, you know, eh, like, are we really, he's really salivating on his 30-30 hood? I just want to see, is it gonna come? Okay, 106.4 on the barrels on 29 of them. All right. I mean, I'll give it to him. I like that. I gotta push Jazz up a little bit. Let's see. Is the raw sprint speed there? What did he hurt last time? Because he used to have sprint speed, but he wasn't running very hard last year. He's not walking. His K to BB. He's free swinging, swinging at everything. Zone contact wasn't good. Swinging all the time, whiffing. 55 future. I mean, but Jazz only 26. I think he was a little more exciting at 2B. I think that was a nice spot for him. Gosh, I mean, it's an interesting guy to just be on the breakout with, I guess, considering what he's put together. And here, I kind of know Tariq Skubal is probably the most impressive. If somebody's just going to surprise, kind of go lights out, I think it's Skubal. I found complaints and reasons to not take all these guys, to lay off of Dodgers, to let Skubal go. I didn't want to fall too behind on some of the big outfielders everyone had. I thought that I was interested in Teoscar. I'm still interested in Teoscar, but can Teoscar be my number one? So I just said, let me enjoy, let me like my picks, let me get some upside, something sexy, and took a Nolan Jones here. And I couldn't wait for O'Neill Cruz. So we're popping that as well. And that kind of gives me my third, my fourth bait. That's the double cruise missile style. And I'm actually happy as this swings down, big run of pitchers, CMO go. Tristan takes Royce Lewis, another big pick as he's getting in on some upside. Horner, Torres, I mean, so much quality. I love the Trout pick, and I don't love the Bellinger pick, even though he signed. Like I said, I don't see Bellinger turning the clock back. a little closer run, and the pitchers are going, and I get left in a weird spot. Taking Grayson Rodriguez simplified my next pick for me, and I went Bobby Miller and Cole Regans. Regans ADP probably 109. I'm not sure how much starting pitching is going to go. We're a little ahead on starting pitching from where I thought we were going to be. I don't want to lose Regan. I'm that high on him. I didn't want to lose him later. We talked about Yuri's innings. We talked about Luzardo. I know this Yuri stuff, simply pitch mix, looks stronger than Regan's, but with situationally and the innings limits, I got nervous. And then Luzardo, I got I saw the lack of extension. Let's just show the numbers. I got a little because I had them listed in the pure stuff analysis, but when I'm going to make the purchase, had to do some additional diligence. I mean, it's just he's getting barreled. Yeah, the K's are there, but I can't be blind to only K's if that's all he's getting. The fastball velo is not crazy. The extension is only a 3, so that's Luzardo maybe not using the mound as well as I'd like. The 81, I think I gave him a pass. I needed him to be sub 80 here. Getting a little bit touched. The chase and the whiff are not huge. So at some point, I just talk myself off of Jesus Luzardo and let him go and skip through Regans. And Yuri, I mean, it's hard. It's so hard to say goodbye to Yuri over here. 97.5. But again, I just kind of looked, I was like, oh gosh, he's just, he's getting in here, he's getting a little bit hit hard. I think it's probably the innings thing. And after we were slicing up, we are looking at the end of last season and just some of those Regans swing and miss stuff. I just get a little more comfort of him just controlling the whole thing, the K to be everything being a little better, the spins. So I could regret it, but we end up going Regans. These guys go quickly out. Even Block Ice Snell. What am I doing? But that's where I decided to go. It's coming back. Paces paces kicked down a little bit. That's what I got for you guys in the closer report. I got some more guys late. We'll probably just keep it locked to where we're at in the process before we do some salary cap. And I think we might have to do some NFBC salary cap. We'll jump over to Yahoo for some warm up. Holler, holler back, yeah. Holler at your boy.